And it's just perplexing to me, the amount of people that would call me through the years for my services, and the response on YouTube, started a channel, started making more stuff. They ask, what about this? What about this? And so I do a video on it, put it out, just me talking, and then it started getting all these views and subscribers and people to, follow me, people all the time messaging me. People, I put this up on Facebook and people messaging me, hundreds of messages a week. How do you do this? How do you do this? And I'm like in the groups, just answering the question. Because the thing I hate was looking around and seeing people who really, really needed help and wanted answers to those questions, but nobody wants to give them the answers. They're like, there are a few, don't get me wrong. There are a few who just constantly add value to other people's lives, right? But some are like, I'm not about to give away these secrets that I spent so long trying to figure out, And they would tell me, shut up. Don't tell them that stuff. Don't tell them that. You're crazy. Why are you doing that? And I'm like, look, dude, do your own thing. You know what I mean? I'm going to give until it hurts. And because I just identified that there was a huge void in this industry for education, right? The information. And there are all these different schools of thought, and people have different methods, and many of which work. I just think that too many people are saying, somebody has a question, and the answer is send it to a PA, send it to an appraiser. Don't even mess around. You can't even talk to them about the price. You're not allowed to do that. You can't even talk to them about the estimate. You can't even meet with the insurance adjuster. You can do all that stuff, Generally speaking, if you're not a PA and you're a contractor, you probably shouldn't talk about policy or coverage. The good news is that, the adjusters, though, they emphasize policy and coverage. We don't pay for that, not covered under the policy, right? And we don't pay for overhead and profit. And you're like, well, yeah, you do. It's included in the policy for even a single trade job. It's included in but now you're playing their game. My thing is we sort of go in these situations with our hands behind our back at a disadvantage because we can't really get into the policy coverage stuff. And that's discouraging because we take a beating, from the insurance companies. However, I have what I consider a neutralizer, an equalizer. And that's the building codes. The building codes are awesome. When I was a contractor, I didn't get it. I missed the boat. I really had to come to terms with guilt because I now realize that I didn't even comply with the law when it came to codes. I had people around that I relied on to know that stuff, and I thought they did. I now realize I don't think they had a clue either, but I didn't know the codes. I didn't know the real requirements of what I was supposed to be complying with on every single job. Because of that, there was a lot of items that didn't get approved, and because it didn't get approved, we didn't do it. And so the real loser was my client, right? All those times. And so I really feel bad about that. So I have to run around the country and do hundreds of events, you know what I mean, to live my life vicariously through you and try to help with that problem. I didn't do anything with the codes because it was so confusing for me. When I looked at it, I think my mind just was too lazy about it, It's like you're showing me a law book, and I didn't have an interest in it. That's part of the problem. I didn't have an interest in it. And so therefore, I didn't choose to learn it, right? Now, but the thing was too, is I thought to really become efficient with codes was that you had to have, a shelf full of all the code books. And you just don't. You don't. In fact, you don't need hardly any of those code books. You just need 3. And you don't even need the books. Everything in the books is online from the people who make the books. It's crazy, right? And we only have a handful of things we need from each of those 3. And those are the things that we're going to use over and over again. And the beauty is that the insurance adjusters don't know crap about these building codes, right? So you have some of them who you'll run into that'll be the exception to the rule, right? And knowing that, that'll keep you accountable to make sure that your information is correct, right? But ultimately, if we have something on the estimate and The adjuster says, why do you have that there? And you're like, it's required by code. And they're like, send me that code on city letterhead, right? That's what they do. I'm aware of that. We're going to cut through all that nonsense. Take the adjuster to school on the codes. That will be the equalizer, the neutralizer, to give us the advantage with them.